This week on Men Don't Talk.
You get your money, but never ask me for anything. If we're at the flipping newsagents and you're 25p short, you better look the other way.
Straight away, I'm going to be... Euphoria is very, very quickly going to be followed by stress. I know it is. And I don't normally get that stressed, but money stresses me out. I would feel stressed very quickly, right? Welcome to another episode of Men Don't Talk. We've got, to many people, won't recognise our guest today, but audio-wise, you might recognise him if you listen to Series 1. And that's probably not that many people, Adam, is it?
No, so we've got... taken it down yet?
No. We can take it down, yeah. We did get into trouble for Series 1. We can do a little bit of a dictionary corner just to bring back the old days at the end of this one, I think. Right, okay, I wanted to talk on this one about a subject that caused a row between me and my missus. So we were having a few drinks the other night and we talked about money, which often brings up issues, doesn't it? Have I frozen? Because on mine, my little picture-in-picture bit is frozen. It doesn't normally freeze.
Yeah, absolutely fine, mate.
Fine then. So yeah, so it caused a little bit of an issue. We were talking, having that chat about you win the lottery, what do you do straight away? So I've already prepped you guys a little bit today. I'm not giving you much time to think about it, but the theories are that this will still come back in the lines of mental health and so on, because I read a few reports and saying that lottery winners are more prone to suicide, more prone to depression, more prone to divorce. So it seems to stand up that money might not make you happier. But given that, and we'll go over to our guest, Mr. Adam Richmond this time, you've won 10 million quid last night on the lottery, or just now you've won 10 million smackers. What happens? You go downstairs, tell the missus?
Hi, Adam, you there, mate? I just need a loan. That's what happens.
It depends who you're with. Like, so if you're with your missus, this isn't going to work out. But like, you know, back in the day, it would have been straight down the lap dancing club. Like, you know, like, it would have been brilliant. That would have been it. I've always fancied one of those, like, you know, like a proper blowout in Vegas. That's what I've always fancied one of them. That's what I'd like to do. What I actually do with the money is probably a little bit different.
So yeah, no, I'm up for the comedy answer, and I'm also up for a medium term or short term to me, which is the Vegas trip. I get that. I'd be with you on that one, especially if you were paying, because you got 10 million quid. But I'm after now. What do you do in the next 5 minutes? What do you do? And what do you think your missus is going to say?
I don't know. Just like you just end up running around the house like a nutter, wouldn't you? Like celebrating like you won the Champions League. It's I don't know.
And what do you think she's going to say? You are married, yeah? Your position?
You know, I'm married with kids. Yeah. I imagine like Jen's. She's pretty good with money, so she'd stop all of the thoughts of going off and doing something stupid straight away.
They always ruin our fun.
So party, blowout, all that lot. You start to discuss a few things. You maybe have some drinks. You get sloshed. The next morning, we're getting down to business, Adam. I'm your missus. We're getting down to business, Adam. We get the pen and paper out. What are we going to do? Firstly, are you going to give any to charity?
No.
No? 10 million quid?
No, not straight off the bat. I wouldn't be like, right, there you go. There's my... No.
There's a conviction in his answer straight away. Just no.
Nope.
No, that's not to say that charity won't come further down the line, but it's not like on the list of priorities for me when you get like 10 million quid. Charity's right down the bottom.
What if charity was a lap dancer?
Up there.
Go on, what's top of the priority list then?
It's got to be House.
How much are you going to spend on a house? I was going to say that. How much are you going to spend?
I don't know. Like I reckon you can live very comfortably around here. Like I like where we live, and I think you could live very very comfortably around here for like, I don't know, 1.52 million quid on a house.
Okay, so that's 2 million quid gone straight
Yeah.
away. Yeah, new house, like it, settled down. Come on, guys, jump in with questions. What else?
How big is this house? Do you know what I mean? 1.5. Is it going to be like? You talking cottage? Are you talking like duplex, grand
He does
design?
He does
you
like a bit
know,
of cottage.
Fabergé eggs and
If
Easter
it's
eggs. about?
Monaco, it's a wheelie bin. So it just depends where it is you want to live.
That's it though. Like I like where I live. I live down the road in Knutsford, so you can pick up one of the Mac mansions for about, I don't know, 1.52 million, something like that, overlooking the mere.
So
fairly sensible, like eight bedroom type thing. That'll do.
So is that a pool? Has that got a pool as well?
Yeah.
Because as soon as you start, I know human nature. As soon as you start looking at the 1.5 million pound mansion, the missus starts looking at £3 million mansion, going, "Oh, Adam, if we do that, then the kids have got an indoor pool." And
I'd be on looking at the £3 million mansion. No chance. You'll be like, no. We'll do. We'll get that one. We'll get that one.
Who do you reckon will change most around you with that 10 million?
me, I'll stop taking the piss out of him.
I don't know. There's so like we haven't got like a really close like group of friends, so I would imagine you'd get people coming out of the woodwork who have been your pals, but all of a sudden think they're your best mate and want to hang around with you. And I reckon I could name a few of them. Or I won't, but I reckon I could name a few of them that I reckon would come crawling out.
You're going to find out a lot about your mates. You really are.
Yeah. I reckon we pause then. Paddy's jumped in now, so I'm going to put it on you, Paddy. You just won tonight. What's happening tonight? Come on.
Well, there's a massive argument in the house before we start because we're going, shut up, I'm fucking ringing it. I'm fucking ringing it now. I'll get through in a minute. Shut the fuck up. Fucking hell, just leave me alone. That's how it's going to start. And then when we actually do get through and realise all the numbers are right, then it'll be bargain booze. Straight on to bargain booze.
Start as you mean to go on.
Oh God, yeah. But nice, decent as they can sell. Bottle of brandy, little bit of fizz, and then back in, straight into the house, and then we'll sit down and start talking about what we want to do. So yeah, we get absolutely smashed that night. We'd have probably spend the first part of the night just talking about who we tell, because we'd be really, really reluctant, I think, just to, as you've already said. After we've had this discussion a million times, we've got a list of who, and if anyone knows me that listens to this, they'll probably be thinking, am I on that list? Well, we'll never know. We're never going to win, but
good point. Then, do you go public? Do you go public with it? No.
I've wondered that.
I wouldn't even hesitate about not, because what I'd do is, if in terms of family and stuff like that and friends, we've already said that we wouldn't actually give lump sums out. What we would do is, because there's so much interest that comes in off the money, we just let that give people money as and when. So in other words, say you got £100,000 interest, we'd use to give that interest, so the money would stay there. So we'd always, do you know what I mean? It would make the money work for itself and change people's lives. People, if anyone turns down and says, you won all that money now, why can't you give us something now? That was the wrong thing to say. You come right down in our, you just get an idea what's changed in your life that you need the money right now, but we can change your life in 6 months' time. Just bear with it.
All right, I was going to go into detail there, though, Paddy, because are you married at the minute or not?
At the minute. Yeah.
You're not, are you?
I am.
Oh, you are? Oh, sorry, right, okay. So what happens with the actual money? You've got the ticket. Is it going into a joint account? Is it going into a single account?
Oh, God, joint. I've no
joint account.
Because at the end of the day, if the shit hits the fan and we split up, we've got 5 million each.
Yeah, but Paddy, you're Scouse Geller, remember the Ross Geller from Liverpool? So I know you've got a few exes. What if they what if they creep out the woodwork? And
too late, mate. I also know the law because I've been down through it enough. They're not touching nothing. So yeah, no, that's what I'd do. The other thing I would do is the next day I'd immediately go off sick. So I wouldn't resign, I'd go off sick. So we go down the Caribbean.
True Scouse style.
Oh God, yeah. We go to Dubai and buy as much gold as I could. I mean, we're talking like the full Mr. T, as in beyond everything. We can have sovereigns in every single finger. Sovereigns the lot. And I'm going to come back after 6 months. I'm going to walk back into work, hardly being able to move my arms. I'm going to go, do you know what? I still don't feel too good. And leave again. And just go off for another 3 months.
You're
Just
thinking they're going to think.
as I can.
You're thinking they're going to think Mr. T. I think they're more likely to think Jimmy Savile, to be honest.
Won't care, mate. Won't care now.
So what are you doing house-wise?
Well, fortunately, and this is a very unexpected answer, but because we've done a little bit of that lifestyle, because we're in a family where we've got relatives that are a few quid. So we've been fortunate to live in the sort of house that you were describing before. Adam, sorry, I forgot your name for a minute. Yeah, that you were describing before. So we lived in somewhere like that for 6 years. And what we knew about that was, you don't need it. So all the land acres and all this sort of stuff. And we just basically stayed 1 bedroom. We used every toilet. I think that was just laziness and because we were there. One room, outside space, big kitchen diner, 1 bedroom, and when people came they stayed everywhere. But we didn't really need a house of that size. We didn't. And when they know that, so they're looking at selling it off anyway, because it's still around, and it's 1.3 million if you're interested, if you win the money. So and it is Cheshire way. So being as we've actually been there and lived in something that was really decent, even though it wasn't ours, we know what we want. So all that about the 3 million, that would never, the most we'd probably pay for a really nice house would be about 500,000, 600,000, and get in the area where we want to be. We've got great neighbours here. You can live in a house in the middle of nowhere and still have arseholes just, if they want to be there, they can be there. But we've got great neighbours here. We only live in a semi, and it's and if you can't, it's lovely to ride by a canal. It's like we said in Knutsford with you, well, if you find the right place, you're happy there, aren't you? And that's the dilemma.
What about holiday homes?
Yeah, well.
Good point.
Now you're talking.
He's sat up now.
So, as well as I would buy, I'd get the wing fixed on my Mini.
Hang on, sorry, just to pause. Just to confirm, Paddy, you are spending 0 on a house. Adam's already blown 2 million. You're spending 0, but now we're onto holiday homes, yeah?
No. I've spent up to 500,000.
All right, so 500,000 gone. Right,
yeah,
okay.
That's it. I don't think you need to spend any more. In the area, if you know the area, you don't need to spend any more.
Right, holiday home. Go on.
Holiday home, right.
Oh,
that's
homes.
the difficulty. I would probably look at either south of France or I might even go for like Lake Annecy in France, central sort of south, which is an absolutely one of the nicest places in the world to buy. But you're talking
in quid then, yeah?
Sorry?
Decent place on Lake Annecy is what, 8 million quid?
Well, you think there's.
I know a guy.
You can scouse your price.
Yeah, I do know one which is sort of a very short drive, which is about 1.8. So, and it's got a pool and a really nice bit, and it's
Is anyone else wondering what Paddy's bank account is like right now? If he's looking at houses at this, and he's got the exact price, isn't he?
Well, the reason why is because life's a funny old thing, right? Because me and our new sister really, really close. Now my sister she did really well in her life, and so's her husband. And so between them, they've got a lifestyle that, it's a lot of your football wives type, footballers type of lifestyle. And as a consequence, they opened the doors to us. So we experience all the things that they experience. He lived in Amsterdam. He lived in France. He lived in Singapore. And so we've had the opportunity to go and stay with them and experience their lives, their friends, and it's just been amazing. So and as a result, because they bought or whatever, we've seen exactly what's going on, and they're right switched on. So we're in a fortunate position that we probably would have an idea of where we would want to go and how much it cost us. So it's a bit of a curveball to the first question, but at least it's a different perspective that having experienced something which is not mine, but someone else's open to us. It has given us the opportunity. It's a bit of a boring one, really, although the experiences they were amazing. So they live in Switzerland now, and up a mountain in a what you call it, a big, massive, beautiful, big detached chalet.
Oh,
And
nice.
that's where they've spent lockdown. Shocking, isn't it?
Just yodeling.
Just yodeling. But
Just
they're
yodeling.
open now, so they've been smashed every single day since they've reopened. But anyway, sorry, we've just distracted there by the boring story, just to say that, it's I know exactly where to go. It would be probably Annecy or Riviera, Ville-Franche-sur-Mer, south of France, near Monaco.
So that's gone
I'd like
then.
to buy there.
2.5 million. 2.5 million gone. 2.5 million gone. We've got to that stage. Dalu,
Yeah.
what are you doing tonight? You've won.
I've won, mate. I've won.
Yeah.
Oh, flipping hell. I think the neighbours would probably hear me scream for about 15 minutes. I would randomly just knock on people's door and just be like, I won! Do you know what I mean? Just like aggressively happy, like, nah! And then just go. Yeah, probably like Paddy, get a couple of drinks in, celebrate. I'm slightly different. I think I would announce it, but I would have strict rules, like absolute strict rules. Like I'm with Paddy. I don't think I'd spend more than over $1 million on a pad. I think home is where the heart is, isn't it? You know, as long as you've got a decent establishment where you can host people and etc. I can't see myself having, you know, that 10 bedroom, 16 bedroom, you know, it's just ridiculous. Holiday homes, I wouldn't invest in. I would probably, because the money's there and with interest, you can probably just travel the world and stay at the most luxurious hotels and spas and secret retreats and secret locations. To just be held down to one place in the globe, I feel a bit restricted, especially if you've got all that financial freedom. But yeah, after the hangover, I'd probably wake up on the third day. And then, I think, quit work, set up something for myself, because I know if I don't have purpose, I would go animalistic. I would literally probably be the worst person, you know, like that dude who won 10 million and then got all the sovereigns and got all the motorbikes, and his pals came round and he got a bit of private land and, you know, quad bikes and parties. That might be me, but I've got a beautiful missus that'll probably keep me in line. So yeah, it'd probably be well spent. Her opinion is different. Like I'm speaking for me, not as us as a couple, but for me,
you can't chuck that curveball in there. Her opinion's different.
Oh, she's like the rest of you. She'd like not announce it at all. No chance.
Let's go on there then. Right, okay, we're sat at the breakfast table, Dalu. You want to announce it, and I don't. I'm your missus now. Dalu,
who bought the ticket? Who bought the ticket, babe? Who bought the ticket?
We're not announcing it. Why do you want to announce it, Dalu?
Why do I want to announce it? Because first of all, it wasn't mine. It's a blessing. So, who am I to keep it a secret? You know, everyone who's successful, you know how they won. They got their money, yeah? Their hard work, or they've won it, or they've got a prize. So, I don't think there's a big deal in that. The only thing I'd ever worry about is probably international flipping conspiracies to actually get my money. But rather they're like family or close friends, it's how much do they really need and how much would that affect my 10 million? If you're just asking for $5,000, that's fine. It's fine. What is that to me? It's a day's interest. But I think close family, I've always worked out a plot and a plan. So like, $500,000 or $1 million to mum and dad, sisters 500,000. But and this is the conversation, and the contract would be signed. You get your money, but never ask me for anything. If we're at the flipping news agents and you're 25p short, You better look the other way. You better look the other way. If I've secured your mortgage, giving you 25, 250 grand, don't look at me for a chump.
I'm going to cut that bit when you say don't look at me for a chump and put that in the start, just so you know.
No, but I think I'd have to like do something. But the first thing is probably just after that, a celebration, hangover, and then just go traveling, figure out exactly what I want to do with it. My heart has always been probably helping the homeless, so I think I definitely want to do something in creating a building and then doing something to help develop life skills, probably getting into employment, all that kind of jazz. That would be the business side, but the rest of me would probably be living that jet ski penthouse lifestyle, baby.
Paddy, go on, Paddy. You got a question?
Would you spend the money on the Dalu Tebe show?
Would I?
Here we go.
Ooh, do you know what? I would invest in maybe a sketch comedy show, just revitalizing something. But probably like a good sketch comedy show with a bit of like a variety comedy show, maybe where you got a bit of stand up, bit of improv, a bit of like random singing, and just see if that works. Live audience, Channel 4, don't steal my idea when you get it, boys. Something like that. But I don't think. I wouldn't be talking like the initial investment would come, but up to about 500 grand, nothing more than that. Because if it's going to work, it should work, and naturally that evolution. But as we all know, it's a harsh old world.
So you're talking about $1 million for friends and family or something like that. Then you'd put a chunk aside where you divvy it up. I think mine's similar, something like that. Yeah. Adam, what about you? Friends and family, they come begging. What do we do?
Like we've got a fairly large family, so I don't know how you'd kind of work out how to like divvy it up, because before you know it, it's all gone.
Immediate. That's who you keep. Yeah, mum, dad, granddad, grandma. Yeah, your brothers and sisters, cousins, and all that. They get about 10% of what you've gifted. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. And how often do you see them? Would you invite them to a wedding? If I don't invite you, do you know what I mean? All that jazz comes into it.
That's a great point.
If you're not coming to my 50th, do you deserve 50 grand? Don't think so, mate.
But even then, like you talk about like giving £1 million to like your brother and sister or whatever. But like it just goes really quickly, doesn't it? So I think you need to put like a limit where you just say, look, I don't know, 20% of this is towards family and friends, and I think it's the right thing to do. Where you just say like it's almost on a, to a certain degree on a needs basis. Yeah. You can give stuff off, but I don't know. Like look at so my dad's he's retired. He's sitting pretty. He's got a house that's too big for him. It's 3-bed. Doesn't really need money. He's sat there not spending his pension. So does he really need any money? Like I'd like send him on a holiday or something like that, like a really, really nice one, but I don't think he'd need that much. But then if you look at my brother, who's, he's mortgaged up to the hilt, he's got an expanding family, both him and his wife don't like their jobs, then you'd probably want to give them a bit more money.
Yeah, I absolutely agree there. Yeah. You have to rationalize it. Like I couldn't, if my dad was in that situation where he'd paid off a mortgage and comfortable, would he really get $1 million? Or maybe, 100,000, 200,000 because he's paid it off and he can just enjoy the rest of his life.
I agree with all that. The only thing is my view is I still stick with that same one. You've got £10 million and you've got all that interest building in. You can in 12 months or 6 months you've got enough money to pay someone's significant mortgage off and give them a few quid and keep the main money. You never know it's there again, isn't it? So that's my view. Sorry, Andy.
No.
What about you, good. Andy?
Yeah,
a beard trimmer, would you, mate?
Right, buy a bigger van.
I would get a beard trimmer, yeah. I'll tell you what, don't joke about the van. I'd have
You'd get the A-team van, wouldn't you? I can see it already.
I'm not a car.
You'd be the
P team. Obviously. In true adult talk style, I'm going to talk about the emotion. Straight away, I'm going to be. Euphoria is very, very quickly going to be followed by stress. I know it is. And I don't normally get that stress, but money stresses me out. I would feel stressed very quickly, right? And the reason is, I've got dead low self-esteem around money because my brother is one of those people that falls on his feet every single time money sticks to him. Every time we played Monopoly, he kicked my ass. Every time we did anything, every time he invests money, it always comes up trumps. I always spend all the money I've got, and I'm never really in debt too much, but I always spend every penny. It doesn't stick to me. Do you know that some people? You ever notice with some people money sticks, and some people it just doesn't?
Yeah.
So straight away, I'm thinking, shit, where's all this money going to go?
Is it burning a hole in your pocket already?
It's burning a worry hole in my life already.
I feel like you've got a stomach ulcer just even talking about it now. Like,
Yeah. Just give the ticket to us. That's the answer.
I genuinely don't know. I don't know. I've got big theories on money that doesn't make you that happy, but I've always enjoyed I've never got a rise that I've gone, oh no, you're joking. But I really don't know. House-wise, I think I agree. I think I'm spending 2 million. I think if we've got like a little pool for the kids or whatever, a playroom with a pool table, all those kind of things. But I totally agree that loads of spare rooms that you don't need is just stupid. You need one nice spare. I'll tell you what, I'd have a place with a granny annex so that like the mum and dad can come and stay. Yeah. So they're not in the way, but they can stay and all that kind of stuff. Bit of a studio.
I thought that's why you got the van.
Yeah, it is. Don't. My father-in-law slept in here. Don't worry.
No way! How'd you get away with that?
Yes. He snores like anything. So he slept in here. So. We'd be rowing about it a bit, me and my missus, I think, because the work situation. I enjoy my work.
Mm-hmm.
You don't
I can't just don't do anything. I don't. I'd have to quit work. I want you 10 million quid. Who's going to go to work? I can convince myself that I'd turn up Monday morning and I'd be like, no, I'm going to keep my job. And as soon as anybody says, have you finished that report? I'd be like, fuck off.
Exactly. Your first kit meeting, you get that in your Outlook. Delete. Goodbye.
I'd be like, do you know where I am? Just swinging my dick round, like, helicoptering.
Goodbye, this guy.
I guess I'd have to quit work. I'd have a nice house. I wouldn't buy much more than a big van. I'd be worried about what we divvy up. And I reckon you take a sum, 500,000, $1 million, whatever, and you go, right, we distribute this between my brother, his family, my nieces, my mum and dad, and then that's the good point though, Dally. Does it go to cousins? What about you? Are you going as far as cousins? Where are you stopping with the handouts?
Again, it just depends on the relationship. With everyone, it depends on the relationship, mate.
But I'm your cousin, Dally. I'm your cousin, so why did he get 20 grand?
Because
Dally, tell me.
He's the one that's made an effort to be in my life. You've only come here because I've got the 10 million. I wouldn't have heard from you.
That's because I've been looking after my sick, your uncle that you never see. I've been looking after him.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you would have communicated that, I would have known, but I didn't. So, no, no, I'm not that bad. But I think it depends on the need. And just what your gut instinct and your heart tells you, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like a part of me is if I kept that whole 10 million just for myself, and we've really got to ask ourselves this, because my missus has asked me on occasion, and I've asked her, are you ready for success? The success that we want in our heads, as stand-ups or as a manager at work, or changing the world as a social worker, whatever it is. Are you ready for that role? Are you ready to be a director? Are you ready to lead a team? Are you ready to empower people and do all those things? And it's the same with that 10 million. Ask yourself, why would it just be 1 million you distribute? Why couldn't you just be comfortable on 5 million and actually distribute the other 5 million? Yeah, that's enough. Yeah. Just thinking out,
So how much then? You're a man, a thinking man, and you're a man of charity, and And maybe, what's the word? Philanthropy, I reckon. Bit of philanthropy. How much are you giving, Dalu? How much are you sectioning off of your 10 million? I'm your favourite charity on the phone now. Dalu, we need you. We need you.
Out of that 10 million, I think 4 I could keep for myself.
Whoa, that's a big man. You're giving away 6
Don't
mil.
get me wrong. I wouldn't be giving it away. Like a lot of it would go into good investments that I think are good anyway. So, like a homeless hotel or a homeless place where people live, learn skills. They eventually would work there. But this would be a profitable thing. It would be a charitable, like a non-for-profit, but it would be making money. So it wouldn't be just like lose 6 million. Hopefully there would still be, I would be smart with it. There would be some ownership on property or ownership on leaseholds and things like that, but the business would, there'd have to be something good I put out there, man. I can't enjoy a massive life and know people are struggling. Like
I like that. Paddy, how much?
In what sense?
Are you going to fence off any of this money towards charitable areas?
Well, I've worked for a charity for 20 years, so fuck them. Next.
They owe me.
Nobody joking. I'm joking.
Oh, no, each to their own. No judgment.
No. I'm just joking. But I was just, as you were saying there about being happy giving money away and keeping the rest. That's a really strong thing in my heart. I couldn't agree with that anymore. And in my system, if I got 5% interest on a £10 million a year, that's £500,000. Over 20 years, I'd give away £10 million, but I'd still have £10 million in the bank. So whether that's to family, whether it's to charitable causes, whatever, my way, think about it.
Yeah.
You're not going to live that long, though, are you? You're already 60, aren't you?
It won't matter. By the time in 20 years' time, £10 million in the bank, I'll be able to buy someone else and just change my head. Just put it across on someone else there and go, there you go. Get a brain transplant into a decent looking fella's body, big muscles and all this stuff. Hair. Telling you.
Adam, back to philanthropy. Anything you'd actually invest in, like Dalu, or would you give any away, or are you thinking not?
I think that's the smarter way of doing it, rather than just saying like, "Here's a cut" and give it to a particular charity. There are charities that are close to my heart, but really, it's probably you'd spend the money on maybe events so that they could raise more money, or like Dalu said, investing in bricks and mortar for a charity. I think that's probably the way to go. I'm not sure where you're getting your interest rates from, though, mate. We're going to be in negative interest rates soon. You'll be paying the bank more money.
You know where they say money goes to money. If you've got 10 million quid, they're going to want your money, so you'll get the interest rate. Just go to Switzerland or somewhere like that. Don't worry.
Paddy's got a Panama account somewhere, isn't he?
No,
on the mountain with his Toblerone. Look at his watch.
It's called Scouse Swiss Bank.
That's it. And he mentioned Swiss before as well, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He's off. He is off.
No, it's just if you've got your money with the right people, and in fact, leaving it with the lottery. Because I don't know anyone that's left the money with the National Lottery that's ever gone bad. They invest the money, and it always seems to work for you. Those that have done nothing at all but just live off it.
Is that an option?
Done really well.
Seriously, is that an option? Like, is it?
Yeah.
And they invest it and manage it for you?
Yeah.
That'll give you an interest back on it.
Yeah, well, the money's going to be there if they're looking after it, but it's your money. You can just say, I want it, have it. But that's the way it is. It's your money no matter what.
Right. Right, can
if
anyone...
that's the case, I don't know, but if it isn't, I'll put it in the bank. And
I'll give you my guilty pleasure straight away. I want to know what your guilty pleasures are, so start thinking on that. My guilty pleasure, my missus, we both signed up to this one, is we would get, in our largest house, we would get a chef. We'd have a live-in person who would cook for us. We don't have to do any food shopping. We don't have to decide what we're eating Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. We don't have to make any lists anymore. We get fucking brilliant food ready, like a footballer gets it, anytime we want. That is the guilty pleasure that I am going for. A full-time chef, living chef.
Don't forget the nanny. Don't forget the nanny.
That'd cost a fair bit, but that would be a guilty pleasure. Anyone else? Come on, Dalu, guilty pleasure. Where are you?
Probably like yourself, mate. It'd have to be a chef and like a maid and a cleaner. Do you know what I mean? Just like they could be all free. You know, think of Jeffrey in Old Fresh Prince. I look a bit like Uncle Phil, so could work. But yeah, I think not every day. I couldn't have them like too much around because it, you know, like 3 times a week kind of thing. But I think I'd like to do a lot of traveling as well. So I don't know how often I'd just be like home. Do you know what I mean? I'd love to do like, because you've got that money, you've got that freedom. All you need is really a plastic card. You really don't even have to take luggage because effectively you've got the money to just show up at the airport, buy a bag, buy your undies. It's just. Not saying that I'd waste money ridiculously, but you have that option just to be, oh, let me just do a month in Mexico. Oh, what are you doing, backpacking or staying at the luxury hotels? Do both, you know, and then, oh, from Mexico, go over to Thailand and Asia and Japan and Tokyo, and then, you know, swing back over to Australia and come back to the UK for 2 months, catch up with everyone, and then do one to Norway or something. Do you know what I mean? You just have that. They're the options I'd like, yeah.
Spending it on travelling and that'd be ace. Any bling or anything like that? Are you someone who would invest in, you know, like because you were saying that you would tell people that you won. Would you have a shiny car? Would you have the jewelry like Paddy said? Anything like that?
Like my ideal car is a Bentley Continental, Bentley GT Continental. So they're not that you know, it's not a major. I'm not looking at a 1.whatever million car, but yeah, probably like a Bentley Continental. I like my bikes as well, so I'd probably get like a nice quad bike and probably like a Harley, a nice chopper, old school cruiser, yeah, something like that. Just like a couple of toys, and yeah.
Talking of an old school cruiser, Paddy, what would you do?
Old school. There's only one school cruiser in this group, mate, and we know who that is. It's interesting when you say about guilty pleasure, because when you've sort of, I've never spent any more than £50 on a pair of trainers. So knowing that you can actually go in and actually buy something for 80, 90 and not even think about whether or not you're going to be struggling for the rest of the month, this, that and the other, that's the guilty pleasure that I get. Once a year, maybe a bit, if you go that little bit extra. So everything at the start is going to be a massive guilty pleasure because you've never had that sort of money to spend. If you're going to do the elaborate one, it would be, go for the meal, but I'd jet down to the south of France, and jet to Spain, jet to Italy, and just, both go there, meal, relax, whatever, straight back home again. That's how you're going to do it, isn't it? Yeah. You can have something fantastic like that. So, and car wise, well, I'd get a new tyre for the front of your Mini.
I see you getting a yacht, Paddy.
Yeah, just to listen, right? Let me give you some advice on getting a yacht. Get your money, right, in your hand there. Walk to the end of the pier and just empty it straight into the water, because that's what you're going to do with the boat.
Really?
Yep. Anyway, next. So they think I'd love Porsches. I love the sort of car that it's really, really nice car. It does everything the Ferraris do, this, that, the other, but you can still leave it outside the shop. So, and Porsche for me is that perfect car. But also, and then, as you said before, with your guilty pleasure, straight down to Germany, day round the Autobahn, go round, what's it called, the race, Nuremberg. Oh, can you think of a better day than that? Just hammering the shit out of it. It's cost you 80,000, 90,000 quid, and it breaks down because you've wrecked it. Who cares? You should get another one, but do it the right way.
Yeah.
I've never done that. I've never driven a nice car. I'm not one for cars at all, but I do think that I need to do a track day or something one time, because I've never been bitten by the bug, I think, is part of it. Do you know what I mean? I've never had my eyes open to a nice car. I've always thought, why are they spending all money on car? Like, I prefer to spend it on a house, personally. I prefer to have a bigger mortgage and less of a payment on a car. But admittedly, I have never driven a Ferrari, Porsche. I've never been in a nice car ever. So I don't know. What about you, Adam? What car? What guilty pleasure?
Car. There was outside Waitrose the other day. Some twat pulled up in class like 1980. I guess it's 1980s, maybe early 1990s. Lamborghini Countach.
Oh, no way.
Right. It looked absolutely immense, but you know that he probably drives it like 5 miles a year or something.
Yeah. There's kids gobbing on it while he's buying his bloody cigarettes inside.
Yeah. But he looked like he was homeless, to be fair, as well. Like it's funny way. But something like that, like I always fancied Ferrari F40. That was the one for me when I was growing up.
Would your missus let you buy one now?
No chance.
Even if you won 10 million?
No, well, I don't know. But I'm not a massive car person. Like I'd own it for the sake of owning it, and then I'd get absolutely no joy out of it at all, apart from looking at it. But like for me, I don't know, just a comfortable car that can fit all the kids in is all I need really. But in terms,
I sense you'd also have a masseuse.
And an island and a private.
But no, if we go talking about extravagance though, I quite like a hair transplant. I'm going bald. That's
Go on, tip it down.
Oh, get lost.
That's a full head of hair.
There's nothing, mate.
I showed you a photo earlier, didn't I? Mate?
Yeah. The sunroof's coming out, definitely.
So it's just going at the back there. So I don't know though. Like I think all the usual, like having a maid and having the nanny for the kids, putting the kids in private school, probably, just kind of making sure that they're sorted for life. I think would probably be the best thing for me.
Who would get cosmetic surgery, teeth done, eyes, flipping Botox and stuff like that?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Done.
Plastic chest implants.
Right, we are Men Don't Talk. We're supposed to be open and honest. Would anyone admit that they would get a procedure straight off the bat? Or think about a procedure?
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah, definitely.
Go on, Paddy, then. What would you have?
Well, I'd have something reduced because it's always been a bit of a pain, to be honest with you. And that's my stomach because it's, honest to God, it's massive. It's just, I'd have liposuction, then I'd get a personal trainer. I'm with you, Adam. I'm definitely getting the old the hair done, the old Buffon and all this lot, and then we're going to get the old veneers done as well.
Yeah. It's got to be done.
Honestly, you would?
100%, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You can't turn up like 10 years later with hair again.
Yeah, and I still wouldn't admit that I had 10 million quid. I just said, I'm paying it off on the monthly. I've got an interest-free credit.
I'm a vegan now.
One thing that troubles me, and again, I was trying to bring it back a bit on theme when we talk about like worries and anything like that and stress, because it said from the studies that actually it increases. We're all having a good laugh and we're all thinking about the money and we're all like, oh, this, it's going to be, I'm already smiling thinking, oh, if you won this, it'd be a brilliant thing. Like, but the problem is that suicide, depression and divorce increases. And Adam, you were just talking about with the kids there at private school and stuff. How do you stop your kids being the rich dickheads? How do you keep them with the value of money and all that lot? Because rich kids are just dickheads, aren't they?
I don't know, mate. Yeah, I think, and I could tell that my kids probably end up like that as well. Alex, he's a lovely kid, but they're just not grateful for anything. So you everything that they want, and they'll just be, they'll not be grateful for it.
No,
I would pay a poor family that anytime my kids were like troublesome, I would send them to this family and just be like, do you want to go and live with them? Do you? Do you?
Like rich house, poor house.
Yeah.
Let
me tell you about Rich House, Poor House. We were sitting there the other day and did the maths. The poor family were better off than we were. I was outraged.
I think it's interesting. There's a thing with Peter Jones from Dragon's Den where he said he does some elaborate stuff with his kids and discovered that the best way of incentivizing them was kind of matching the money that they made. And I think he gives allowance to one of his daughters that might be doing nursing because they don't get paid as much and stuff like that. But he tries to think about it as incentivizing, and I think quite quickly found that if you're giving your kids money and opportunities and all the things that they want, it's just going to destroy their drive. It'll destroy their working drive. It must be really hard. That would worry me as well straight away. If they had 10 million quid in the bank, but the kids are not going to know the value of money. I used to wash cars for like £2. I spent 2 hours washing my dad's car for £2. You just have to be careful.
Well, it's the reason why footballers, boxers, musicians, entertainers, after their kids, never get into the same industry. It's not. Do you know what I mean? It's really odd. Yeah, very odd.
Yeah. Well, obviously we're both Liverpool fans, me and Paddy, and Salif Diao. I was reading an interview with Salif Diao. Do you remember him? He wasn't great for us, Senegalese, wasn't he? And he was saying, I think he played for, I might be right, Marseille. I think it was Marseille. When he was a teenager, he wanted trials at Marseille, and they said they'd taken a certain number of trials in a few weeks or whatever. He slept for days outside this training ground, slept on the streets for days, waiting to get this trial. And you just think it's amazing that any of our kids in Britain even make it to be professional footballers, given that people have got drive like that, because they've come from that kind of like wake of life where they've not had opportunities, and they'll fight for those opportunities. I've got a big concern that my kids would be like, I've got money, Dad's got money. It's hard, that, isn't it?
I think it's interesting because my mates, they're brilliant, because what they did was their kids growing up, they said they're going to give them every opportunity. Now, it didn't automatically mean the opportunity was going to cost money. They just give them the opportunity, and it was like you say, he was going to maybe community musician places, going to play rugby, going to kickboxing, boxing, going to do, singing choir, whatever, just to give them a taste of it. And through it all, the kids would become quite driven about what they wanted to do. They never spent a lot of. They actually, what you said there, it was really interesting. I remember them telling us that the one of the kids didn't have a talent at all, but they queued outside Britain's Got Talent for like 7 hours with them, just for them to have that experience. Took the packed lunches and everything, and they did it. And when they went in, they were all dead nice, and the kid was crap. And the dad says, we knew he was crap, but we weren't going to deny him the opportunity. So I just think you can give your kids really good opportunities, and they don't have to cost the earth. So I think the money shouldn't really come into it. That's going to come from you, like you say, your 18-bedroom house, and the school that they go to, and all this sort of stuff.
One of the good ones that I had was Jim Jeffries, and Jim Jeffries said he was really driven as a comic because his mum used to do something, and he said he'd do it with his lad. That was an actual physical thing where him and his brother, she would drive him to go and watch someone like the bin men or whatever, and they'd sit in the car for half an hour and watch them do the bins, and she'd go, right, if you don't want to go to school, if you don't want to try at school, this is the kind of job that's going to be available to you, this kind of job. And it's not saying that you said, I'm not saying it's a bad job. Some people might enjoy doing this job. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't mean you'll be happier if you get paid more, but this is the kind of job. So I want you to watch the kind of work that you'd be doing. Right, next, she'd literally drive them and go, this is the kind of house that you'd be able to afford. What kind of house do you want to live in? No, you couldn't afford any of those that we've driven past. This is the kind of road that you'd have to live in. Where do you want to go on holiday when you're older? And would literally go through these scenarios and go, that is the life that you are looking at, and show them those things. And Jim Jeffries said it was like, Jesus. And if she got any sniff that they were like privileged or anything like that, she would take them out and show them different professions and stuff, which I just think is extreme in some ways, but it seems to have fired a rocket into him at least.
Whatever works, doesn't it?
Yeah. I did a similar thing with my stepdaughter last week. Actually, we were talking about her going to university and understanding the actual cost of living. So I said, right, get a sheet of paper. This is what your rent would probably generally be if you were to stay in Manchester or wherever you were for uni. This is what your council tax, your water bill would look like, and this is all from your office job. So we gave her just an entry level office admin role between 17 and 18 grand, worked it out to what her breakdown is monthly, and then showed her what her actual living costs for life are. and it was a massive eye opener. So it was, I think especially this generation, the new generation, if it's in black and white and in a short snippet, like, oh, actually, bloody hell, yeah, add it up. That's and she was like, okay, that's so I need to be earning more than 25, 30 if I really want. Oh, if I really want more, it's going to have to be 40, 50. But if I and then she's now getting the understanding of why to bloody work hard.
Yeah. Right, where else can we go?
Not that she didn't have it, by the way, but just it was a good cementing.
We spent money on the holiday. We took the holiday home. We spent the holiday home bit. I think I'd go for a holiday home.
You've not said what cosmetic surgery you'd have, mate.
Oh yeah. I always wanted cosmetic surgery. Go on, what you said? Go on.
Ablation surgery.
Yeah, definitely. I always wanted cosmetic surgery when I was young and insecure and a virgin. I've not mentioned that, have I? I wanted these trimmed back. I wanted my ears.
Headphones.
Yeah. I wanted my ears pinned, and I then I kind of dropped that a little bit, and I wanted my nose. I've got the weirdest nose. It's like a week's work for a plastic surgeon. It's just completely bobbly and not straight. It's weird. And there was a time when I wanted that done. I guess I'd want my teeth done a little bit, but I don't think I'd get anything done because I agree with the Bill Burr thing when he says, like, if you get cosmetic surgery, it's like you're starting to restore a car. So if you've got a bit of a fucking wrecked car, you get a shiny new bumper on it, you're not going to stop there, are you? You need the headlights to match it. You need the fucking tyres to match it. You need this. And all of a sudden, you're just going to look like one of those rubber people. Your face looks like a... Your face looks like a melted candle.
Hold on. It's like that,
Yeah. So I reckon I'm out with this.
Has anyone been watching that? Is it Inside Monaco? Have you not been watching on BBC Two? Talks about life in Monaco, and that is literally what Dalu is doing there. Every single person interviewed, literally like that.
It's ridiculous.
That's what they spend the money on. Just and I think I might get the old wig done, I might get the teeth done, but not with the Botox. It's just company doing it. No.
What about like kind of investing in business? Keeping yourself occupied. Like I'm a massive. One of the things that came to me was that I'm the same as I think Dalu said it. Like I need focus. I need something to keep in life, and I've always fancied like owning. I know it's probably not the best industry at the moment, but like owning a bar or something like that. Maybe even a chain of bars, but something that's I'm actually interested in. I can do it with my own personality, but it's also something that you can give to other people to run.
See, I've got one there straight away for me to jump in. I was thinking it before. There is a place that I want to visit called Nep, and it's Nep Farm. It's down Sussex way, I believe. It was on Country Farm. It was on Springwatch the other day. I'm a big watcher of stuff like that, like with my lad as well, well into nature and stuff. And Nep Farm, how can I do this really briefly? Nep Farm was a huge estate, farm estate where they had cows, sheep, and they produced loads of food, right? So, and the guy inherited it from his father, I think, and he spoke to a consultant, and the consultant basically said that. Go on, darling. He said that I'm long-winded. I talk.
It up then. Adam was like,
Good point, mate.
I'm going to continue. Net Farm, basically, they then changed it. So what they said, this consultant convinced them and said that Britain uses nearly all its space, green and present land, for farming techniques. If there's a tree in the middle of a field, we plough it down, or we just keep cutting the grass too short around it till it dies. All we want is thin hedges, and we just want to fill it with food and mass-produce food. And all the cows have loads of drugs and everything, and we don't want nature. We just want to make as much money out we can out of every inch of land. NEP changed that. So NEP, the guy that owns it, decided they want to do something different, and he's rewilded the whole estate. So where I'm coming to is something akin to what I'd want to do. He's rewilded it. He's put loads of animals in there. They're applying to get beavers in there. They've had white storks have nested there for the first time in this country for about 300, 400 years. They've attracted big blue butterflies that have. The big blue has not been around at all in this country for hundreds of years. They're trying to rewild it and create pathways for nature and stuff. So the reason that I'm saying that is something that's I'm quite passionate about is getting kids involved in nature. Getting kids involved in nature, and for mental health, nature's a massive thing for a lot of people. There's big studies now about outdoors, about nature. People have been involved in that helps mental health massively. And when I was a kid, I always wanted a farm. I always wanted a little small holding. And I think what I'd like to do is I'd buy the house with a bit of land and do a bit with it, create a pond, have my kids dipping like they were doing today, who's getting some frog porn because we created a little pond in the back garden, getting them involved in nature, maybe even create your own small kind of nature reserve and start to build something where you could bring people for mental health retreats or that kind of stuff. Just something that adds a bit, that puts a bit back to society. I think that is something that I definitely think about. Or something like a theatre I've thought before, like build your own little independent theatre or something. Yeah, that would be my hopes and dreams for the future. Paddy, what about you? What would your hopes and dreams be in the next 10, 20 years then? What would you do?
No, I wouldn't care. I've got 10 million quid.
Honestly, you need some drive. What you going to do?
But listen, I'm 53, so I'm at a different stage of life. You know, this is scary to think about, but at 53, you know, you're talking like your best 15 years left, your last good 15 years before you think your life could change significantly. I'm not going to start doing something fresh or clean or whatever. I'm just going to try and live my life, keep myself as healthy as possible and enjoy myself. You know, I know that sounds really daft, but I'm coming from a different point of view. My eyes, I can't, you realise that you can't get a mortgage for 25 years anymore. Get a mortgage for 13. I'd like a mortgage for 11. Don't want to work till I'm 67. I could be working till I'm 72. So you don't know what's going to change. So no, at my stage of your life, I'd be thinking, I can't believe I'm in a fortunate situation to have 10 million quid in the bank. And, you know, whatever's left in the 20 years or 30 years that I live, that you give to the rest of the family, they can have it, but let's make sure there's enough left for them, but have a real good time along the way.
But devil's advocate there, and I understand, but devil's advocate would say, even if you're even later in life, in your 60s or whatever, a lot of people inherit a lot of money from their pensions at that kind of age. And they know mental health wise, and it shortens the lives of people if people don't have the hobbies and the interests and all the things that they want to do when they stop working. A lot of people, I think they're finding now in studies that when you stop working, pension wise, draw your big pension, they don't know what to do with themselves. It's a big problem for lots of people. So I'm not saying you'd have that problem, but what would your daily routine be when you've got this money? What are you getting up for?
Well, don't forget, of course, my old fella's 84? No, he's 86. Sorry, tell a lie. And he used to come round to me when he retired, and he would I'd say, sit down. I haven't got time to sit down. I mean, he's not stopped. And he literally kept it. He was going out, and things that we'd see as being leisure, they were really important to him. He volunteered in the park for people that had strokes and that wanted to get back to fitness. So he went on, did a sign language course. He just went bump, and that's what I'd do. I'd just keep myself busy doing stuff that I think I'd have an interest in. So I wouldn't stress about waking up at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I wouldn't stress about it because I'd spent all this time working. Now I was in a really fortunate situation. I'd get up when I wanted to get up, I'd plan my day, do things. I'd have a routine. I wouldn't worry about that in the slightest. I think, I don't want to be critical of anyone, but I think it's such a big thing, like you say, that amount of money. But in your mind, at my age, you're thinking now already, what are you going to do in 10 years? Because it's not that far away. You've got to start getting yourself ready. I'm not where I want to be, but hopefully in the next few years, I'll get myself where I want to be. So yeah, I'm a different perspective. I don't think
it's a bit like United. That give him 10 years, might get back.
Yeah, But and ours took 30 anyway. But yeah, so that I mean, that's from a different point of view for you. You're a lot younger than me.
Dalla, you mentioned about you mentioned a few things that you might do in regard to this business stuff. So let's push that 10 years down the line, or actually right now. Then you've got a meeting. You see people from the church. They want some money to invest in this and that. You've got your homeless charity guy. You've got a mate saying, let's set up this business, you and me. You've got me coming to your door saying, Dallo, I think we should open a comedy club or build a little independent theatre. Where's it going to go? What are you going to be doing in 10 years' time?
I'd have business advisors. I don't think I'd make every decision on that. You know what I mean? If you look at Alan Sugar, 800 million, but he still has people that he seeks to for advice. So I think definitely have those on the table. Investments. I think I would probably want my fingers in a lot of pies. So
Talk about strip clubs again, are you?
It would have to. I think it would have to be. I'd have to be practical. So you have to look at things that always work. So your minerals, your golds, your coppers, your diamonds, things like that. They're always a good strong investment. But then you've always got the companies, the Microsofts, the Amazons. So if you can actually afford to buy shares in them, they're always worthwhile. Bricks and mortar. I think. It just follow the path of the elite. It's a very simple path. We overcomplicate it because we have lives that take us in many different angles and distractions. But all they do is generally invest, hedge funds, bricks and mortar. Simple.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure there's an answer there of how much you're going to give to, but you're going to get advice on it. I get that.
You see the political answer. That's exactly how I would relay it there. And
I like it. I like it with the advice.
It's a good answer.
Yeah.
My people will call your people.
Adam, we're coming to a close nearly now, but I don't think you've mentioned, unless I've missed it, you're going to put a good chunk of money into Business Summit in the future. You're quitting your work that you're doing at the minute, are you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Not what I want to do, but
if you're a millionaire,
yeah. But you just want to be. I think spread around a bit, like diversify. Just do stuff that keeps you interested, that keeps your money ticking over. I don't, I quite fancy being a dragon in Dragon's Den. Like I'm fascinated by Kickstarter. I'm obsessed with it. Like scrolling through all of these things that people are coming up with ideas for, like invest in me, and I'm like, fucking take my money.
You're more likely to be a dragon in Game of Thrones.
Oh.
Go on, so where's your gut feel though? Because you'd have loads of those people coming to you saying, invest in this, invest in that. Something's got to be deep in the heart there of Adam saying, no, I've always wanted to invest in something like that, to be a part of something that's doing that.
Do you know what? I genuinely don't know. Like, I really like the idea. Like, I've got some ideas for businesses if I had the money to invest. Like I said before, like it sounds like a really kind of cliche thing to say, like bars, but it's a bar with a purpose. But that interests me. Like, I'd love to run my own kind of like like cottage holiday type complex. Like buy up a property and just somewhere relatively near a tourist destination and
cottaging.
Cottaging, yeah.
Have you spoken to your missus? Have you spoken to your missus about owning a bar?
We've spoken about it. Yeah.
Because mine burst the bubble. Because I've always wanted to own a bar or club and just I don't know why, probably growing up in Essex, seeing that lifestyle, but that was one of the fantasy jobs. But then she said to me once, she was like, oh, but what are you going to do when that woman comes to you and says, like, your bar has taken my husband and he just spends all the time drinking there? And I'm like, why did you have to go there? Like, I'm doing all this.
I'm not, I don't know. I just like the idea. There's a bar that was for sale locally. and a couple bought it and have made like a real success out of it. Even during the lockdown, they've done really, really well. And I think it's it's a really, they've turned it into like a community place, like where, there's lots and lots of local people there and spending their money. Like, importantly, they're going there and, having a chat with them and kind of, it's almost like a focal point of the community. And I just think it's a really nice, the type of atmosphere that I'd like to create in my own bar. I just think if I'd have had the money at the time when that went up for sale, like I would have bought it in a heartbeat.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mm. Right, so
Men Don't Talk. Do we get free drinks by any chance? Just asking for a friend.
No, now that you've asked, no.
right, I think we've all decided this anyway, but final question then. Will the money make you happy? Adam, back to you.
Yeah, but I think so. I think it gives you the opportunity to do things that make you happy. I wouldn't say that the money on its own does it. I think you have to work for it still, but it gives you the opportunity to do things you enjoy.
Your answer, Dalu?
I don't believe money makes you happy, but yeah, give me some.
Paddy?
I agree pretty much with what Adam was saying. I think if you've got a firm foundation of happiness where you are, the money can give you really good opportunities to enjoy yourself. But, I don't think it brings you happiness.
Yeah. I agree. I think if you've got issues, money are not going to solve those issues unless the issue is, I've got no money. Mm-hmm. But if you've got actual personal issues in your life and all that, I don't think it solves much. It's like the icing on the cake, isn't it? If the cake's a shit cake, you can put as much icing on it as you want. It's going to be a shit cake. But yeah.
I think I watched an interview with a millionaire, and he just one of the quotes, he just said, "Money will show you your true self. Whether if you have evil intentions and that's who you are, you will do that because that's your fantasy. If you have good intentions, that's who you are. You will live that out as well." So yeah.
Sound right. Well, when I press stop recording in 1 minute after I say thanks to everyone, I will tell you my idea for a film, which is kind of based around that. But we'll do that in a minute. So thanks very much to Adam for joining us again.
Thanks for having me.
How is baby, by the way? How's the kids? You stopped at one stage because of baby. How old's baby?
You not hear the baby crying in the background?
No.
Oh yeah, it's a challenge. 3 kids is a challenge, especially lockdown.
What have you got? A mixture of boys or girls?
3 boys.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Between us, we've got 7 boys. Yeah.
But it's been nice, kind of working from home and being around the kids and everything. But my God, I'm so glad to see them back at school and nursery.
Aye. Right, I'm going to stop recording, guys. Thanks, Dalu, Paddy, Adam.
Nice one. Nice to meet you, Adam.
Cheers.
Nice to meet you, Adam. Take care, mate.